Hello, this is Joe Pryor, the virtual real estate team in Oklahoma City. And I know I've kind of talked about this before, but I kind of wanted to focus in on two things that I think are very, very important about investing in real estate. And it kind of really, puts how we do things and what we want to sell to investors into perspective. And basically what I want to talk about is the two main enemies in real estate investing. And that is vacancy and maintenance. So, I do spreadsheets all the time for investors, and not just on cash flow, but return on investment. And, vacancy and maintenance can make reality a lot different than paper. It may look good on paper, but the real key factor is that we eliminate these two enemies. Now, from a maintenance point of view, there's a couple of ways that we can do that. Now, number one is new construction. Now, the idea behind that is that nothing has ever been used before, so you're getting it brand new. In other words, it's fresh. You don't have to worry about 20-year-old or 10-year-old heat and air systems that may be going out. And when you do an inspection on a 10 or 20-year-old home, the inspector just says it works or it doesn't work. They can't tell you that, well, you got another year lifespan or 2-year lifespan. You just really don't know. And so, the thing about new construction is not only is it brand new and unused, but there's also warranties involved. So, you have warranties that can go anywhere from 1 year to 10 years, depending on what builder that you go with. And so what we see is that we can really eliminate a lot of that with warranties like heat and air of 5 years or hot water tanks of 3 years. So that if there's any defects that you are taken care of and it's not out of your pocket. Now, the third thing is materials. A lot of the houses that we have quartz countertops, or they'll have solid vinyl plank flooring, and in that respect, there's not carpet to replace, or there's not formica that can be damaged because we're talking about stone or composite. And so how the materials are used is something that also can prevent maintenance. And so that's very, very important to us. The kind of paint that's used, maybe using a low luster versus a flat paint where you can spot it as versus paint a wall. So we're concerned about all of those things because we know the better return on investment that you get, the more you're likely going to be buying more property with us. And so maintenance is number one. Now, vacancy. Vacancy is number two because, if you have 100%, occupancy, yeah, paper looks fantastic, but how many times does that really happen? Well, pretty much zero. Now, I've had renters for 11 years in a property, but they leave. And so we're lucky when we get those kinds of renters. But again, here's where my property manager and I work together very, very solidly, which is number one, supply and demand. I mean, my property manager has veto power. If he says enough, it's enough. Now, we also know that percentage-wise, we want to keep down the number of investment properties in neighborhoods. So 10% is always a maximum. But not only that, we don't want the same house to be 10%. So we can go from 1,271 square feet of living space to 1,730 square feet of living space and differentiate what's being purchased in there by investors. And so we want to make sure that that's the case. And my property manager I've worked with for 13 years has 13 years of data to parse in Oklahoma City to make sure that you're doing the right thing. So we're going to do everything possible for you to eliminate those two enemies of real estate investors, and that is vacancy and that is maintenance, so that reality looks a whole lot like what we put down on paper.